Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my My Hero Academia Chapter 321 read through. Now, it's been a few weeks, not taking into account the 2 break weeks since I last released one of these videos, as seen by the time under the video, but there's been some reasons for that. My editing software that I only used very limitedly decided that the price that I'd paid for the full product was no longer enough and they wanted more money out of me. Yeah, I decided I'm not going to do that, so I was a while without an editing software. The one I have now isn't preferable, but it's the best I could get. 2, my mouse, the old one, decided to finally die on me after 7 years. Took a week and a half to get a new one, and there were a couple weeks where, because of uni, I couldn't actually record. But yeah, there are reasons as to why I haven't recorded, but I will be retroactively releasing all the chapters I've missed between when I first uploaded to this current chapter. Anyway, let's get started with the chapter. And this one picks up essentially exactly where the last chapter ended, just moved a couple hundred feet to the side, as we see the car that I thought was All Might's finally arrive at Kamino. And we see that it was actually Endeavor's car. We see that Kirishima, Hagakure, and Aoyama are trying to unfreeze Dictator so that they can restrain him properly. And Kirishima calls out, "Endeavor! We captured him using the Bakugo, Todoroki, and Yayorozu combo. I'm just helping to chip this ice afterwards." "Dictator, he may not be alone. We need to confirm the safety of the anti-hero civilians that spread nearby. Go and search the area with Hawks and the others." "Endeavor, leaving all this up to Genus might lead to a faster resolution." Endeavor looks to the ice wall that his son made, and Kirishima mutters to himself, "They have such flashy techniques. My help might not be needed. But damn it, I still have a lot of things I want to say to him." "Me too. We." "Hawks, as of now, the students won't be a hindrance to us." Not happy with the voice I gave Aoyama, but "Midoriya, the current state we're in could all be a part of All For One's plan. He could take this opportunity to attack UA. If you can't find him after you've searched extensively, consider an alternative plan so that you can protect UA. Rather than leaving it completely, you can stand by its side. Let us fight with you." Midoriya is totally ignoring everything that Shoto's saying as he's trying to force his way through the ice wall, while the words "you're next" play on repeat in his head. And we see All Might, we see Nana, and I can't actually tell if that's meant to be Yoichi or Shigaraki in the back, but no, this is a fight between All For One and One For All. You guys can't keep up. We get the reactions of Midoriya escaping from Shoto, Bakugo, and Ida, who calls out to Uraraka, and then we see Froppy leap off the window and swing her tongue towards Midoriya's direction and calling out his name. Midoriya manages to dodge, but he sees that The tongue wasn't entirely aimed on capturing him, it was more to deliver what was on the end of it. Mineta holding a chain of his balls. Mineta, grape chain. I never thought your power was that unique. What made me admire you was the fact that even as you were covered by a cold sweat and trembling in fear, you still led all of us to victory. He's referencing most likely back at the USJ, because that was his big moment with Midoriya, though there are a couple other times when it could be referencing as well. And Midoriya once again blinks away tears before knocking his classmate back with a strand of black whip, safely depositing him onto a rooftop and connecting other tendrils to 3 other buildings. Sorry, Mineta-kun. I'm already black whip elasticity, plus 1 for all 45%, plus Fajin. Fox, we're not letting you go, Deku-kun. This is different. Uraraka swoops in to try and grab Midoriya like she did during the joint training arc. And when she says this is different, we get a flashback to when Bakugo was kidnapped and her telling Midoriya, Bakugo is probably too stubborn to let himself be saved by anyone but himself. Saying that, you're not Bakugo. Let us save you. She starts to say a sentence with I at the start, but Midoriya slingshots his way past her, so she calls out to the guys of the class who had set up a ramp. Mina coats someone in her Acid Man armor, saying, acidity at 1% maximum viscosity. We see Sato, Shoji, Koda, and Tokoyami all push out to force Todoroki and Bakugo down the ramp, and one of them says, step on it, Todoroki. So Todoroki brings his hands together and creates a flash freeze heat wave to rocket them off the end. I have a lot of things I want to talk to you about, but you won't listen to me right now. They meet up with Uraraka as she's falling, and she touches Bakugo and the person shrouded in acid as Todoroki falls down, saying, they can't catch up. Deku-kun, I don't want to be protected by you. I don't want to weigh you down either. I just want to be by your side. Bakugo places his braces behind him and sets off a new super move, Turbo Speed, Cluster Bombs. I still can't decide on a voice for Bakugo, and he just sets off a series of quick flash explosions to rocket them forward even more. Deku, there are so many things I want to. No. There's so many things I have to say to you. But the one who has the body built to withstand such speed, other than you, is our class representative. We see that as the acid burns away and the person is exploded out of Bakugo's grip, it's Ida who was being propelled by all of them, as, yeah, his body is the only one built to withstand such speed. And he thinks, you were always ahead of me. That is why I will always continue to challenge you. And as he finally reaches Midoriya, using a bit of recipro burst in the air and grabs a hold of his hand, we get a flashback to what the second user said, saying, if there was anyone who could complete the current Deku with the same will, at the same pace, it would be the people who are willing to run alongside him. Now, we didn't get that final bubble in the original chapter, and Instead, we just got a panel of Bakugo showing up directly after. So he wasn't directly talking about Bakugo, saying that he was the only one who could help Midoriya. He was saying people willing to stand alongside him are the ones that he needs to complete himself. So indirectly referencing Bakugo, but still referencing. But no, let go. I won't. Ingenium is a hero who will run anywhere to grab the hand of a lost child. Sticking your nose in other people's business is what makes a true hero, right? And with Ida's words, I think that's a callback to what Midoriya said during the Stain arc. This is what finally gets Midoriya's tears to start flowing, though that could just be the wind pressure whipping against his face as Ida's crying as well, but hopefully showing that the whole class has come together just to get Ida to Midoriya's current max, showing that all of them work together to save him in that one final act, will finally allow him to see that they can stand next to him. Now, you may have noticed, those astute watchers, that two of the pages actually were the Bean version, whereas the rest were from the official translator. I know I said I wasn't going to be doing that, but since the site I am on is now using more pop-ups because they have to pay for the official translator and they're paying the secondary translator, and the fact that in the official translation it had Uraraka in her stint of internal monologue. She was just saying, we want to stand by your side. We don't want to hold you back. Whereas Bakugo and Ida both got personalized ones. I figured it was more appropriate to go with Uraraka also having the personalized ones. But it's also, I'm downloading the pages before I even record now and reading them off the photo app rather than the actual website. So if I'm doing it that way anyway, I can just download them from either version, hold them side by side to see which version of the page I think works best, and just download that one. But yeah, this was a interesting conclusion. I was honestly expecting a bigger part from Uraraka. I was also expecting a bigger part from Bakugo, if I'm being honest. It is nice, however, that Ida is the one to grasp his hand at the end. Because in many ways, Ida is realistically Midoriya's Kirishima. And much like how it had to be Kirishima to grab Bakugo's hand back when he was kidnapped, it makes sense for Ida to be the one to grab Midoriya's hand. Though, in the official translations, they have the reason that it's not Bakugo saying, nah, I'd probably just beat the shit out of you if I caught up with you. Wait, that means I had 3 Bean versions. Oh well, I don't even pay attention to the pages, so you guys probably didn't. But yeah, I decided to go with him saying that it's not that he wants to, it's that he needs to, as opposed to him saying that, nah, I'd just beat you up if I caught you. Plus, it flowed better into the Ida one. But yeah, there's not really any major things that can be said. There's a lot of referencing back that was made very apparent in the last chapter, but I honestly can't remember if that a hero is someone who sticks their nose in other people's business was something that Midoriya said to Ida, or that Todoroki said about Midoriya. I think it was around the Stain part, but I can't remember. It was a good chapter though, so just been on a plateau of good chapters ever since the start of the war, but yeah. Interesting to see if Midoriya finally decides to accept their help and actually works with UA to team up with against All For One, or if he manages to get away from Ida and they have to call in other reinforcements to try and track him down again. Because he still hasn't met up with Stain. We know that Stain was there when he left All Might. Haven't heard about what happened to All Might either. But I genuinely thought in the last chapter that it was going to be Stain and All Might in that car, not Endeavor. But who knows, they may still show up but not be needed. We'll just find out in the next chapter. But if there's anything in these pages that you noticed and thought was important but I didn't touch upon, if you noticed anything in these pages that I got wrong, or you interpreted some of the ambiguous text bubbles as being said by someone else, or you just want to tell me what that speech was in reference to, comment them down below. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.